follow-ups.
Ooh, yes. Ooh, I love it. Thank you, Jill Jensen, for joining me on my podcast.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you, Stephanie.
Happy Friday.
Happy weekend.
I know. Okay, so I just have to say, I feel like I kind of made it in a way because you reached out to me because you heard that I was meeting up with people from SquadUp to talk about the 3 goals, and you were like up in SquadUp talking to Pace. Everybody knows Miss Jill Jensen. So I'm just like, oh my God, she knows me.
I do know you. I know a lot of people, and we'll dive into that that's part of my goal strategy.
Ooh, okay. But first, tell us how you got into real estate.
Let's talk about how I got into sub 2.
Ooh, okay.
Long story short, I started in door-to-door sales and I sold pest control. I did really well. I started recruiting other sales reps and teams. Fast forward, started a pest control company with hundreds of sales reps knocking doors. And then my former husband and I separated and I got bought out of that company.
Okay.
I had a problem. Money. And I was like, I just need this money making me money. I don't know how. Then it was like, all rich people have the same thing in common. They all own real estate. How do I do that? Yeah. Internet. I got to go figure this out because there's no one in my circle of influence that's doing what it is I want to do, even though I didn't really know what that was yet. I just knew it was real estate somehow and not an agent. It was investing or like acquiring properties, like the passive, the cash flow. You hear these terms. Fast forward, I was sneaking into the local university because they have a really good entrepreneur class. I was like, if I can just make friends with the teachers, maybe I could make my in. I got in a different real estate program and I wasn't able to get a loan on a home. And that's like how they taught to acquire properties. And I thought the only W-2 job I've had was in high school. I could buy a house with cash, but I'm not going to do that. And so just the algorithm, you're searching stuff, somehow Pace Morby's face came up. I binge watched him. It was New Year's Eve. Everybody else was who knows what drinking. And I was sitting in front of my TV. My kids were with their dad for the holiday. And like, I didn't leave my house for 3 days straight, just like binge watching this guy. And that's all it took. I was like, this is it. I'm just going to, whatever this program is, I don't know. A week later, I found myself on a one-on-one Zoom with Pace talking about private money lending. So for like an hour and a half, I had this private coaching call with Pace. And that's really where it kick-started with learning how to invest. And then it just came down to who's the top people that are investing their own money. I want to go learn from them. So now I was on this hunt to like search for the people who were already successful at what it is I was trying to do.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So you're a go-getter for sure. And you're focusing on the lending part of it, the private money. So okay. I don't want to take away. I could go on so many different things. Okay. So I'm going to stay focused. What is one of your goals? Because I'm feeling like this is all related here. We're
gonna dive into I'm a very intentional person. Without even trying, I look at a person and I think, how can I help this person and how can they help me?
Yeah.
In any form, however I come in contact with them, especially within business, I'm like, Pace taught me this. Ask, what do you do and what do you need? Yes. And what do you have? And what have you been doing the last 20 or 30 years?
Yeah.
Guarantee I can take whatever you've been doing or a skill set and apply it into getting to where you want to go. I feel like I can kind of help people identify what they're going to be good at. And in return, I'm looking at them as, if I can help them identify that, how can I leverage that person and what they're good at and acquiring them in my business or a connection that they have with someone that that's like a missing piece.
Yeah.
in my business. And so one of my goals, are you ready?
I'm ready. Drum roll.
No. Get your microphone because this is going to be a mic drop.
Oh, okay. All right. I love it. Okay.
Okay. And I was really surprised at like where this goal stemmed from.
Ooh.
When I go into these different events, there's two things I do. And first, I'm looking for what I like to refer to are small hinges that can open big doors.
Ooh, yes.
What are those small things that you learned that it's like, oh, that was the tipping point? That's going to really expand my thinking.
Yeah.
And then being very intentional with the type of person I'm looking for to help with whatever the next step in my business is. You
Yes.
go make all these connections and relationships, and I'm like, no, what is that one position? What is that? Identify what do they look like? So then when I come in contact, I'm like, you're the one.
I love it.
You were
Okay.
what I was looking for.
I like it. Okay. So what is it?
I love Cody Sanchez. She's just my chick. She's just the girl. And a funny story, I promise I'll get to my goal.
Yeah, I love the story. You're doing great. I love it.
Storytelling. I'm practicing. Don Miller, thank you.
Yes.
And I was at a different event and I saw Pace and Cody Sanchez was speaking and I like beelined it for Pace and I was like, I want to meet Cody. Didn't even say hi to him. I was just like, where's Cody? And he's like, let's go backstage. You can meet her. And he took me back there. I got my picture with her. Fast forward, I'm at his house a couple months ago and we're filming some content. And he said he's ordering a bunch of her books and going to get them signed. And I was like, I want one. And I want one of them that's signed. Ooh. He's like, I might be able to make that happen. Fast forward, we're at the event. Guess what happened? I had one important call all week long at Thursday at 3 p.m. that I set up with like my media team and 5 people that are all in different time zones. And it was right when Cody's going to be speaking. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh.
You know, I was looking for that. Fast forward, Pace gives out that lanyard with her autograph on it. And he's like walking around. And I was like, if he sees me, he'll remember our conversation. I totally got it.
Yes, I remember.
Like, sometimes you just have to ask for what you want. What is it that you want? Ask people for it. Guess what? I want to be on your podcast, Stephanie. So guess what? I'm just going to come ask for it.
Yes.
And guess what?
Yes.
The interesting part is I already know who Vina Jetty is. I know a lot of things she talks about. One of those small hinges was one line that she said. And I teach people when they're new in sub 2 or anything in real estate, anything in general, it's the book Who Not How. Find the who's. Don't try to figure out how to do everything. There are people that they have a cheat code and they want to give it to you. And then here comes the line. She said, it's not who you know, but who knows you.
Yes.
And I was just like,
yeah.
That was like, I was so focused on who, not how for a year. And then I'm like, she just added one more sentence that literally, then I couldn't stop thinking. And then Pace is like, anyone take any takeaways? And I was like, this is my chance.
Yes.
You all are going to know who I am.
Yes.
I'm going to stand up in front of 2,000 people and I'm going to raise my hand before he's even done talking. So no one has a chance. And he's like, looks like I'm walking way back there to Jill Jensen. And I'm like, that's right.
And you were up.
And I was in a hot pink shirt.
Microphone. I remember it.
Yeah. That's right.
It was very memorable. Yes. I think yes. Oh my gosh. So many takeaways.
That's my first goal. So I really broke that down on, okay, how do I get myself out there? How do people know who I am? I started brainstorming. One of those goals comes down to being on one podcast a week. I'm tapping into everybody else's audience.
Yeah.
I could go start a podcast. Here's the thing. I have a lot of the same listeners.
Yeah.
Where
true.
if I'm on a different podcast every week instead of just airing a podcast,
yeah,
I could tap into everybody else's relationships. And then from there, I thought, okay, Pace is really good at being around people.
Mm-hmm.
People know Pace. I've studied him and what he does. Remember?
Yeah.
It's not learning it. He's already figured it out.
Right.
He's got the cheat code.
Don't reinvent the wheel, right?
Don't reinvent the wheel. So now I'm like, okay, I want to be in front of a group of people at least once a month. So last week I spoke at a meetup here in Utah, and there was probably 60 people telling them what I'm doing and what I need. Next month, I'm setting up an investor dinner for people in my area. So I'm getting that set up of, okay, how do I find the people? How do I get them there? The place that I spoke at is a facility that rents out their spaces. And I'm like, perfect. This is where I'm going to be hosting my dinners. Like,
yeah,
found the location. And then I'm going to start doing one webinar a week.
Ooh.
Just like 12 minutes. Just give enough bait for people to want to actually connect with me. So the first goal is, how do people know me? I need people to know who I am.
Yes. Yes. I love it. So that's exactly what I love how you walk through that, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do when I talk to people is, you've got this goal. What actions are you going to take to reach that goal? At least 3, right? You don't want to get lost in the details of the how necessarily, because then people get stuck in that. But what are 3 actions you can take now? That's what Uncle G says in his 10X book, right? Yes. He makes a goal, and then what are 3 actions you can take now to reach that? So I love that. Okay, so because you're talking about being very intentional, are you focusing on a particular group of people to go over a particular topic, or are you just spreading it? Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes. What my position at Sonos Capital is, raising the capital. I'm looking for accredited investors that are ready to invest. I'm actually looking for 2 things. First, it's investors that just need their money making them money.
Okay.
So I'm solving a rich person's problem by just helping them have their money make money. And I also have advantages on how they can save on their taxes partnering in real estate.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that have money just sitting. Mm-hmm. Retirement accounts, whole life policies, any type of profession that makes over $200,000 in a year.
Yeah.
Different type of positions. So it's interesting because last week I was on a podcast that was strictly for building great sales teams.
Okay.
And the reason I was on that is because the second person I'm targeting are other people that have a network of people. And they're like, how do I tap into their money? Like, how do I help these people that have money? And I bring them on as a partner. And so I'm building a team of capital raisers.
Ooh.
I already have the systems in place, the partners, the underwriting with like a very solid asset of mobile home parks. How we're acquiring, the risk factor is like insanely low because there's high demands, high return, high cash value. So I'm like, I feel really confident in raising capital because of the team that I found and the type of assets we're acquiring.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I went to this event. This will lead into goal number 2, unless we want to stick on one for a minute.
Oh no, go for it.
One, like the actual action steps on one.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk that first?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. I'm just excited to talk about. I just want you to know this was such a good idea.
Oh, thank you.
Having people come on with their goals, like smart move for you too, because you're like, that's a good goal. Like you're
Yeah.
like tapping into everybody else's knowledge and strategies. Like, and then
It's awesome.
having them come back on in 3 months, you just instantly got double the amount of shows off
Yeah.
of the same person.
Yep.
Now you just need to go live on those ones.
Yes. 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 I
Mhm.
know. I think I will be ready for that. I am
You will.
planning on that. Yes. Because one of my goals is to build my social media presence and be consistent with it. And that's why I was like, okay, I can't just meet with everybody and talk about their goals and not build in the follow-up for myself, right? Let alone for everybody else. So there's that accountability, helping them a little bit, hopefully helping me stay accountable to myself, right? So yes.
It helps me knowing I'm gonna have to return and report here in 3 months. So what am I gonna? 2 months.
60 days. That's the goal, right? That's
okay.
The plan. Now the pressure's really on. Now
Bring it. That's one thing. I love to use the word fast. We love to move fast. Like my partner has been able to instill that in me. We get on a call and working on something, and I have a pen all the time because I'm like, oh, I want to write things down. And he's like, no, we're doing it right now. Like, why are you writing stuff?
Why
We're
are
gonna
you
get
writing?
done? Like it literally will take 2 or 3 minutes. Like I'm like, okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
I like
That's so true.
I like moving fast.
Yeah, well, that's like Mel Robbins, her 5-second rule book. That's what she says. Don't give yourself time to talk yourself out of the thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you don't even have to go to 1. You just go to 4 if that's what it takes. But if you think it, do it. I mean, Grant Cardone has said the exact same thing. Don't put it off. Do it now. What can you do now? So I've done that. Where it's just like, okay, I'm going to write this down. I think part of it, there is something to be said that if you need to be hyper focused on a thing and there's all these other things happening, then you don't want to get sidetracked off of accomplishing that thing you're working on, right? So I get writing those things down because you don't want to, then you're putting it out of your mind, right? You can
focus on something because if you saw the sheet I have right here, it's prioritizing too, though. Like putting the numbers next to it, being like, okay, is this a 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5? The 5s you don't ever have to do. Just focus on the 1s and 2s.
Right.
What can I delegate?
Yes. Okay, so actions.
Being on one podcast a week.
Yes.
And how I've done that so far is putting myself out there asking like this. And then I'm going to ask you who you know that you can refer me to one person. That a lot of times people that have podcasts have had someone else on a podcast that has their own, or they've been a guest on someone else's podcast. And I'll usually ask at the end after I've given value and talked about different things. For example, when I talked about pest control at the beginning and how I had hundreds of sales reps working for our Rise Pest Control.
Yeah.
At the end of the call, this guy was like, you need to talk to my friend Doug. He has a podcast all about building great door-to-door sales teams.
Yeah.
Well, guess what they all do? They make a lot of money in one summer. So what are they going to do with that money? Let's go invest it.
Let me help you with that.
Yes. I look at them and I'm like, maybe they'll be the next investor. They just don't realize it.
You are on a mission. Like, right. And that's huge though, right? I think a lot of people that could be struggling with their goals, it's because they haven't found the thing that they're passionate about, that they have as a mission. So they're not driven to do the thing, right? And I think that goes to the why. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Because things will get hard. It's not easy. And you have to go back to, well, what is your mission? What is your why to help you keep pushing through? That's just another opportunity. That's another problem that I can solve that's going to make me that much better, right? So that I can help more people.
Yes.
Yes.
I love the why behind
Mm-hmm.
thinking of why do I need to do this? Why am I?
Yes. Okay. So you have some actions for number one. Are you ready to share number two? Okay.
Being a guide. Don Miller talked about being the guide for closing deals. And I already understood that process really well. I was teaching on it the day before. That's how I know how to close deals. I was literally, I train people on how to raise capital. And I'm like, it's literally just psychology. And if you understand humans and people, you'll understand how to raise capital. And it really comes down to communicating. And in my position, if I can just, I have a really good deal, and let's say someone has money, there's no reason why they shouldn't invest if I can overcome the story they're telling themselves. And so this is kind of how I would train people is act like you're standing next to them and you're telling them your story. And so with mine, it was, look, I had this problem and I have money sitting in an account. I just need it making me money. And I needed to go on this hunt to find those people. Here's how I did it. Here's how you should follow me because I've already figured it out for you. Subconsciously, that's what I'm telling them.
Yes.
Subconsciously telling them all the problems that they're telling themselves right now.
Yep.
They have money. And then guess what? Then I found myself with another problem, taxes. I was getting hit with taxes. Guess what? They're getting hit with taxes.
Yeah.
And this is how I overcame it. And then I elevate my team and the people that are helping me find the deals. It's Sonos Capital and my partner, Walter Johnson. I'm not trying to be the person on the stage that's better than them. I'm trying to stand next to them. And if you know, Pace Morby walks around with everyone. He's talking to you. He's not standing on the stage. Grant Cardone is great. He never got off the stage because he's great. Ask him. It's like, yeah, well, same thing. Like, think of Taylor Swift. Everybody likes her. Why is she so popular? Because you feel like she's the girl next door.
Yes.
Like she's your friend and she's going to share bracelets with you. Not Beyonce on the stage better than any of you. Like, she'll show up at some random person's wedding and sing and then, wave to the little girl. Like, okay, how can I tap into that? And my goal is I understand that with the people that I'm raising capital from. Now I need to do that for my team of capital raisers. Because I'm bringing on people, I'm going to build the same infrastructure I did with my pest control company where I was really good at knocking doors. Yeah. And then other people are like, how did you make money? Okay, well, I'm going to teach them how to raise or knock doors. Yeah. Build that. Now, joining forces with Sonos Capital, my entire position is just capital raising and investor relations. Like, that's really my main focus. So my thought was, how fast can I just replace myself? Yep. And I went to this meetup. It was a convention. It was called Raise Fest. Ooh, and it was all about raising capital. Yes. And now I'm going to share my small hinge that opened big doors from that convention. Okay. And it was people in real estate have different avenues or avatars. Yes. Example, some people do a fix and flip. Some do mobile home parks. Some do apartment complexes. Some are just private money lenders. Yeah. A wholesaler. And they can be really successful in their one avenue. Right. Let's find the same people raising capital. Find your avenue of who you raise capital from. You can raise money from a whole bunch of people. or you can get really good at raising capital from just people with self-directed IRA accounts.
Okay.
Trillions of dollars in retirement accounts.
Yes.
I could go talk to attorneys and dentists and pilots and retirement people, or I could just focus on one avenue that has a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, my avatar is investor groups. I'm raising capital from people who are already investing.
Yeah.
And my second thought was, I'm going to go find 10 avatars. I'm just going to go find 10 people that all have their avenue of how they're raising capital and bring them on as a partner.
Ooh.
Instead of just getting good at raising capital, why don't I grow sideways and have 10 of me raising capital? And so my goal, I was really good at training or like really good at raising capital. Now I need to be the guide in training my capital raisers.
Yes.
I was like, kind of took
Mm-hmm.
my epiphany from this event, combined it with this. It's connecting.
I love it. Okay. Okay. So action items.
Right now, I'm doing 2 weekly calls with my team,
Okay.
checking who they're talking to. I created kind of an onboarding process of, okay, you need to learn these, you need to watch these videos, we need to get you an email, we need your bio, and let's set up someone to take your headshots, like helping set them up for success, and then brainstorming, how do we find you more leads? Okay, you raised your first $1 million, we're going to pay for you to do an investor dinner. That could cost 10 to 12 grand. But if they've raised $1 million, we calculated,
Right.
okay, how can I incentivize them? And also a potential capital raiser. How can I, because I still have to sell them to come raise capital with me.
Yeah.
I still got to communicate how I'm going to overcome their problem. Okay, you have this connection of people that have money. Okay, I was in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I'm going to help solve that problem for you because
Yes.
I found the team that's really good at what they're doing. So you don't have to go find the deals. Do you really want to underwrite? Do you really want to manage? You thought you wanted to start a fund. And then by the end of the conversation, they're like, wait, all I want to do is just communicate to the people that I have tapped into their money. I don't really want to create a fund.
Yeah.
I want to leverage it. And I thought I needed to create a fund. I'm like, you don't want to do that. You just want to work with me.
Yes. Yes.
And so I was just like, okay, I just need to be that guide on getting those people to follow me.
Yes. Okay. Very cool. Okay. So now, do you have a number? You said, did you say you want 9 or
I want 10 by the end of the year. Right now,
Okay.
I'm going to work on 5. So I need to bring on 2 more people within the next 2 months.
Okay. All right.
People. And I already have 2 that I want. One has soft committed. And the second one, I'm still being that guide.
Okay. Everybody has their timing, right? How long has it taken you to work through that process with somebody on average? I'm just curious.
I like bringing on as a capital raiser.
Yeah.
This is my first round. I've only had 3 people and it's been 5 weeks maybe. It's like a 6-week span.
Okay.
It's pretty good because I want them to have, I have 6 emails and I have things laid out of what I want them to work on that week.
Okay.
What I need from them, what I need them, if they're part of the fund, they need to read the PPM.
Yeah.
It's long. It's going to take a few weeks. I need you to go through this boot camp. That's 3 full days of watching this very experienced person. And all he does is walk through mobile home parks and explain the ins and outs of the park itself. Okay, now you need to meet with my other team that does all of the software and the back end for when someone comes on. You got to know how to sign them up, and it's all through a portal. You got to be able to answer questions and upload their documents because as an investor relations, that's your position. You're raising capital and you have to have positions within the company because legally they have to be a part of the company.
Yeah.
And so they can't just raise capital. So there's responsibilities, they get bonus structured, and they also get equity, like shares in the company.
Nice.
We would rather have a small slice of a big pie than
Yes.
try to have a big business by ourselves.
Right. Exactly. Especially when you have all the structure in place.
Yeah.
Right? That's huge.
And like long term, we're doing like really big branding things. So we're bringing on, that leads into kind of my third goal.
Ooh, okay.
Cloning myself. Pace talked about clone yourself. You'll move so much faster. And so we're bringing on a media team. I already have someone that's tapped into my LinkedIn for the last 3 months. So then we were brainstorming, okay, how do we clone Jill?
So you have lots of little Jills running around. Yes.
Yeah, lots of videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Remember, we felt like we knew Pace.
Oh, absolutely.
Videos. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
My YouTube, that's what's got to go. It just needs to happen. It's inevitable.
I know. When he started Project Forward last year, that's where I finally was like, okay, I'm going to get the StreamYard. I'm going to set up. Well, Carolyn Kane, she mentioned you got to have your YouTube. Even if you're not going to do anything, at least get your handle, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay, I got that. I wasn't doing anything with it. And then Project Forward came and I was like, okay, I am going to start doing some podcasts, but I've not been consistent with it. Right. Yes. So here we are now. I've committed to getting consistent with it and meeting and connecting and following through. Right. That's so huge. I think Pace has said that, where it's like, if you just show up, just do it consistently. Just keep showing up, keep coming, right?
Yeah.
You're already going to outperform everybody else because they suck.
I told my partner today, I was like, it's one of those things with social media. You feel like this and it's going. And I was like, something will go viral. Something will tap. Yes. Like it'll just peak. Like they talk about it all the time. You just have to stay consistent because it will happen.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So you hinted at number 3.
That was cloning myself.
The cloning. Mm-hmm. And what are the actions you're going to take for 3?
For number 3, I first started looking at other people's platforms that I want to model or that I like. What do I resonate with? Yeah. We started interviewing people who are going to take it over. Ooh. So we hired someone. His name's Fuzzy. I know. So Fuzzy, I upload all my media content. So we created a email, my media email. So when this airs, you'll email it to me, and all my podcasts that I'm doing every week just gets uploaded and gets sent to him. My headshots, my photos, my content that I've created, I'm sending to someone who will then help create what content I'm going to put out there. Ooh. And then I have like one-on-one calls with him where we're going to strategize. Okay, this is what you needed to be doing. Here's some scripts of what to say. So it's in the works. We'll see what the next 2 months brings from working with finding the who that knows how to do it.
Yes. Okay. So Fuzzy, do you know why he goes by Fuzzy? I'm just curious. No.
I'm sure I'll find out. I remember his first name, and he's gonna watch this someday, so I'm not even gonna guess his first name. I think I know, but we're just gonna call him Fuzzy.
Fuzzy. Well, I mean, there's Gabriel Iglesias who goes by Fluffy, so why not Fuzzy, right?
Fuzzy. There you go. See, it's catchy.
Yes.
People will remember the name Fuzzy over John. So
how did you find Fuzzy?
It's not what you know, but who you know. My partner
Oh,
searching on LinkedIn.
I might have to reach out to Fuzzy for help, right? Because it's like, am I going to keep trying to figure out how, or am I going to have somebody who already knows how to do this?
Totally. And if you don't have the funds to pay for it, it's just finding there's so much free content out there.
Yeah.
Or like last night, I was looking at Cody Sanchez and I went to her reels and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, which ones have the most views? What did she
Ooh.
say? Is that something that I could just twist and record and say myself? Or like,
Yeah.
could I brand? Because it was a quote by Abraham Lincoln. Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
can share the same quote. What is the content she put? Okay, I can put similar things. And now I'm just going to go repost something that got 3 million views off of hers.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and that's the whole point of being around successful people is if you're watching, if you're observant, you can do what they do, right? You
Yeah.
can, and then you'll see what they see and have what they have. Why not? They've already paved the pathway, if you will. I think that's a great idea about who do you want to be like and what are they doing? Like, what is it about them that resonates with you? And then how do you make that your own? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you just said that because now when I talk to Fuzzy, I'm going to send him the links to the people that I feel like I resonate with because he doesn't know me yet. So he could be
Right.
going off of what he thinks is great for a blonde haired single mom in real estate. When I'm like, actually, this is more my jam.
Yep.
That's could be, more alignment. So I'm glad you said that.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so we've got the 3 goals. We've talked about the actions and what that's going to look like a little bit. And is there anything else that you'd want to share about your 3 goals? There's still more goals, right? We had 10 goals and we just picked 3 that we're going to work on in the next 60 days. So see, I have even more content that I can tap into.
Right. See, and here's the crazy thing. I don't remember any of my other goals because they said to focus on the first 3. And I'm like,
Yep.
I'd have to go search somewhere because I'm so focused on
I know.
3.
The same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do, yep.
And then those 10 goals will probably change by the time I get through my first 3. It's going to be like, oh, that just weeded itself out because,
right.
And one of my goals from when we left was to hire someone in one of the things with cloning myself I'd put next to it was online and at home. Ooh. And so I was like, okay, I need to clone myself online. I also am working a lot more. And as a single mom, my kids are going to be home for the summer and I can't be working as much as a mom unless I find someone who can do some of those motherly roles.
Mm-hmm.
And take the girls to activities and go do some stuff while I can still work. So
yeah.
That's another one on there is cloning.
I know. I thought about that for just clean my house. Like clean my house so I can hang out with my son. That would be great.
What about your mom? I pay my mom. She does my laundry and cleans my house. And she takes the laundry home and she washes it and she irons it and she knows where everything goes. She gets paid. So
that's cool. Ooh, good idea.
Okay. It's a win. She's like, if it means I get to come hang out with you for a few hours, okay.
Like, yeah, but don't talk to me because I'm busy. No.
I know. I'm usually on calls. And I'm like, shh.
Our moms are great. Yeah, my mom, she's just like, it's okay because I'm like, I have to be on this meeting right now, but here's Netflix. And she's just like, yeah, I'm good. That's okay. I'll get done and I'll come down. I promise.
Yeah, that's how it works. My parents live with 3 miles and I have to give them props. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without 2 retired parents that are slightly obsessed with my kids.
Oh, well, that helps. Yes. Yes. And you know what? It's great timing too, because Mother's Day is coming up. So happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
Yes. And big props out to everybody, all the moms out there who make the world go round,
It's true.
Yep. That's
so
true.
true.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I see your Instagram. So I'm a Jillionaire. I love this. I wish I could do something cool with my name like that.
Oh, I'm sure we could.
I'll have to think about that. Okay, so is it just on Instagram that way, or and is that your preferred way, or are you also on Facebook?
Okay, this is a funny story.
Okay.
I was seeing if it was even available on Instagram. I was like, oh, Jillionaire. I am a Jillionaire because Jillionaire was gone.
Yeah.
Well, if you click OK, it gets stuck that way for 6 months. Like you can't just change your name anytime you want.
Oh.
And I was like, I was just seeing if it was available. Now it's stuck, so I have to run with it. And it's been a hit because now everybody, like so many people are like, when you do start your own podcast or your YouTube, when it's running, it's Who Wants to Be a Jillionaire?
Yeah.
The Jillionaire Show. Like,
yes.
You know.
That reminds me of Effie. Like her
questions pop up like on the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You know how like the questions pop up. It's like introducing the person, like making it look as like, look at, okay.
That's awesome.
So,
I know. That makes me think of Effie, where her podcast is What the Effie.
She probably got stuck because she
could have. But it's clever. It's great. Like everybody knows now.
Like YouTube is the Jill Jensen. You're not going to find a lot, but I do have my handle. Fuzzy will be taking that over. Fuzzy for my tag name.
So when I went to do my YouTube, there's a young 20-something blonde, just beautiful Stephanie Trotta that talks about all things fashion. And I was just like, that is so not me. I'm just like, somebody has my name. I mean, I never thought about it, but then when I saw that, I was just like, wow. Oh
yeah.
God. So I kept seeing all over Instagram and Facebook, all the reels. So I kind of screwed up on mine because I was thinking that you had to do at. So I have at The Real Stephanie Trotta. But the cool thing is, I am at the top of the list when you search because of the at sign.
You need to put the at sign. You can look up my name, Jill Jensen, and I usually pop up.
Okay. Yeah.
Just the actual tag name.
That's good. Yeah. Well, on YouTube, it's at The Real Stephanie Trotta.
See, and I had to use the at the beginning on YouTube. I put the Jill Jensen.
Okay.
And
I that's what I was trying to do, but I screwed up. And it worked out.
You didn't get there fast enough, but hey. I like it.
I am at. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I think anybody out there who this resonates with, right? If you're already trying to raise capital, you've been raising capital, and what Jill's putting out there sounds good to you, reach out because she's already got this plan. She's got the structure. She's already got the proof of concept as well, right? So I think that's great. Investors, if you've got some of those challenges, right? You don't know where to put your money. You want more money coming out of the money that you have. You want the tax benefits. Reach out to Jill. Okay, real quick.
Yes.
How did you come to mobile home parks? Because that is just brilliant. What you described about it, like I would have never thought about that. So how did it?
An entire other podcast.
Ooh, okay. So
stay tuned.
Yes.
Tapping into that until next time. You need more people. I got more content.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So stay tuned for the next episode where we find out how did she come to mobile home parks? Because there's a lot of options out there. So
okay, can I tell you a statistic?
Yes.
How How many episodes have you done so far?
I honestly have no idea.
More than 3?
Yes.
More than 20?
Oh,
No.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
think
Okay, cool. Because now I have a goal for you.
Ooh.
3.9 million people start a podcast every year.
Uh-huh.
20% make it past episode 3.
Okay.
And only 1% make it of that 20. Only 1% of them make it past episode 20. So
Ooh.
if you interview 10 people and you all get them to come back,
Yes.
you will hit that. You will be in the 1% club. So when I come back in 2 months, Stephanie,
Yes.
you better be over that 1%.
Ooh.
That's a lot. But you can have me again talking about a little more.
Yes.
You can get me for 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I already planned on that now. It's done. You said it. We're making it happen now.
Okay. We'll schedule right after this.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day and Mother's Day weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.